Hey guys, so I was scrolling through Twitter the other day and I saw this tweet that stemmed me to start this channel. Someone said online, I made my first $10,000 online. I had literally no skills when I started and it piqued my interest. Number one, it didn't tell me how you do it. And number two, it didn't tell me why they did it or what went into it. But I know for myself is I have actually been through this journey from building online businesses and from developing online tools and platforms for clients as a freelancer, as a solo entrepreneur. I realized this really isn't that crazy. And I thought, hang on, I've done this and a lot of it was by accident. And there's so much bloated online content. How can I provide value online and I can teach you a simple, clear path to achieve this? So today, I'm going to argue the fact that actually having no skills might be your secret weapon, or having very limited skill sets may be the answer to being wildly successful online. And I know that might sound counterintuitive. It goes against all traditional education. It goes against all learning people have been taught from a young age, an online tech-enabled, AI-enabled world, what this can be. So stick with me and you're going to understand exactly why being a complete beginner is actually your superpower. So there's a thing here that trips most people up. We live in this weird paradox where everyone thinks they need to be an expert before they can start making money. It's like that classic chicken and the egg. You need experience to get a job, but you need a job to get experience. But here's what I've learned from working with tons of really successful people and also interviewing people in my network who have been wildly successful and talk about both their successes and failures. But most successful people don't wait until they're ready. They started before they felt ready. And that's actually a psychological reason for this. There's this concept called the Dunning-Kruger effect. And no, this isn't going to be a boring psychology lecture, I promise. This was first researched by two psychologists in 1999, where they found that people with limited competence in a particular set of skills overestimate their abilities. But here's the flip side that most people miss. This estimated their performance was in the top 12 percentile, but actually in reality, they were in the 62nd percentile. And it's one of these situations where when you know nothing, you're humble enough to learn fast and listen to your customers, but also you are usually more confident than you think you are, and you think you're going to be more successful. And this can lead you to really, really develop some success by complete ignorance. And now you've got visibility on that, we're going to walk into some of the frameworks, which I believe personally can enable you to be wildly successful online. So a really good one of my favorite frameworks is the Zero to Hero framework. It's based on 3 pillars. And honestly, if you get these right, skills almost become irrelevant. Pillar number 1 is solve problems, don't showcase skills. And here's the thing. People really don't buy skills, they buy solutions. And let me give you a real example. There's a guy called Pat Flynn, you might know him as the Smart Passive Income. When he got laid off from his architecture job, he didn't start a course on how to be an amazing architect. Instead, he created a simple study guide for the architecture exam because he noticed other people struggling with the same thing. And I believe he made something along the lines of around $7,000, $8,000 in his first month. Not because he's the greatest architect, but because he solved a specific problem for a specific group of people. Pillar number 2 is start with what you have. This is huge. We live in an amazing time where the barrier to entry for almost everything is basically zero. You've got a smartphone, congratulations. You've got a video studio. You've got internet access, you've now got access to millions of potential customers. I personally know people who build 6-figure businesses using nothing but Instagram DMs and a Google Doc. No fancy websites, no complicated funnels, just solving problems for people. Then pillar number 3, leverage other people's skills. This is the secret sauce that nobody talks about. You don't need to have all the skills. What you need to know is where to find them. There's platforms such as Fiverr, Upwork, or even just posting on Facebook groups can connect you with people who have the technical skills you lack. And let me show you some real world examples of how personally this has worked. And before you think these are just lucky outliers, research shows that there are 31 million entrepreneurs in the US alone, and 70% of them started their business for a new career or lifestyle change, not because they were an expert level skilled from one day. So case study number 1, problem solver. There's this woman called Sarah. I won't use her last name for privacy, but she kept working 9 to 5 in marketing. She kept noticing small businesses in her area had terrible Google business profiles. And I mean really terrible. Wrong opening hours, no photos, reviews not being responded to. She didn't know anything about SEO or digital marketing beyond her day job, but she knew how to spot problems. So this started reaching out to local businesses and offered to fix their listings for around $500 a pop. She used YouTube tutorials to learn as she went, and within 6 months she'd made over $15,000 just from this one simple service. Not insanely profitable if you break that down to a month-over-month earning, but take a concept such as that, find outsourced talent, build LPs and SOPs, and at that point you're onto a winner you can scale and you can focus on really, really driving and advancing both either acquisition or product fulfillment. Study number 2, there's James. He noticed that freelance graphic designers in his network were always complaining about finding clients, while small business owners in his local Facebook groups in another one were always asking for design help. So he literally just started connecting them. He took a 10% finder's fee, no design skill required, and he made over $12,000 doing this as a side hustle. And just by being the bridge between one person to another. The third case study, and we can go into more detail in later videos, but there's Maria. She was obsessed with productivity apps. She wasn't a developer and she wasn't a productivity coach, but she was always trying new apps, new tools. She started a simple online newsletter where she reviewed one productivity tool each week, and after 6 months, she had over 5,000 subscribers. She started getting paid by app companies to feature their tools, and she began selling a simple guide called The 10 Apps That Actually Changed My Life. She made around $8,000 from that guide alone. So how do you go and actually implement this? I'm going to give you a simple action plan to do over the next 7 days. Number 1, just spend 2 days listening. Join Facebook groups, browse Reddit, look at Amazon reviews, check out Trustpilot. What are people complaining about? What are problems they keep coming up and having over and over again? And just make this as an active note on your phone. Simply just keeping a log on this and getting your brain and getting that muscle really working on problem identification is going to set you up to find problems, develop solutions, and be able to create online products and businesses, or just find something you're truly passionate about and double down on that. But simply don't overthink. Just write down every problem you notice over the next few days and just get in the habit of it. So day 3 to 4, start solution mapping. Now, each problem on your list, ask yourself, could I solve this with resources I have right now? Remember, you're not trying to build the next Facebook here. You're looking for a simple, immediate solutions. Could you create a checklist? Could you connect people? Could you organize information that's scattered over the internet? And then day 5 to 7, the MVP test. MVP stands for minimal viable product, but I prefer to think of it as most value problem solver. Pick one solution from your list and test it with real people. This doesn't mean building a website or creating a fancy presentation. This means reaching out to 10 people who have a problem that you're saying and say, hey, I think I could help you with this specific thing. Would you be interested? And here's the magic. If 3 out of 10 people say yes, you probably found something worth pursuing. Now, I want to address the mental barriers that stop most people from taking action. And there's actually something fascinating and research backing this up. Because studies show that 93% of all successful businesses have undergone pivots from their initial ideas, meaning the most successful entrepreneurs don't start with the right idea. Also, here's something that might surprise you. Harvard Business Review research found that the average age of successful startup founders is actually 45 and not 25. Why? Because experience is recognizing problems and having the patience to solve them matters more than technical skills. So shift your mindset from I'm not qualified to I'm learning alongside you. You don't need to be 10 steps ahead of your customers. You just need to be 1 step ahead. And honestly, sometimes being a beginner is an advantage because you remember what it was like to struggle with the basics. So mindset shift number 2, move from I need to know everything to I need to know enough. Perfectionism is the enemy of progress. You don't need to know everything about a topic to help someone. You just need to know enough to solve their immediate problem. And then mindset shift number 3, what if I fail? Move it to what if I learn? Every single failure is just market research. If something doesn't work, you've learned something valuable about your audience, what they really want. You've learned something about yourself. You've learned how you can do something more effectively. And statistically, this makes total sense. With about 90% of startups fail, and founders with previous failures have a 20% success rate compared to the 18% for first timers. The difference isn't huge, but it shows the value in learning attempts, and that is valuable. All right, so here's what I want you to do after watching this. Pick one platform where you can observe problems, such as Reddit, Facebook, LinkedIn, Upwork, go scout where people are requesting jobs. Step 2, spend 30 minutes a day for the next week observing and taking notes. What frustrates people, what questions people, what comes up repeatedly. Number 3, choose one problem that you feel like you could tackle. Remember, simple is better than complex. 4, reach out to people who have that problem. Don't try to solve anything, just validate that it's actually a problem worth solving. Step 5, if you get positive responses, create simplest possible solution. This could be a PDF guide, a simple service, a curated list, whatever solves that problem the most directly. And look, I get it. The idea of making money without traditional skills feels almost too good to be true. But the thing is, we're living in the most connected time in human history. Problems are everywhere, and tools which need to be created to be solved, and the ability to do it is more accessible than ever. So here's my challenge to you. Stop waiting until you feel ready. Start with what you have, where you are right now, because the truth is you already have the most important skill of all, the ability to notice problems and care enough to solve them. And this is why $10,000 isn't necessarily that far away to achieve it. It's about identifying and looking at what problem you can solve. And you can go a step further. Once you understand your problem, you can start advertising solutions online, and you can do this very free. You can do it via Upwork, you can do it via Fiverr, you can post in the same Facebook groups or the same Reddit threads where you found the same problems. And instantly, you're going to start being able to build a client base. So between watching this video and in the next 2 weeks, it'd be awesome to know your progress. Shoot a message in the comments, and I'm excited to see where we get to. Take care.